prepare well for the lesson.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Ms. Firdaus?
Yes. I'm listening, my good friend.
I say the second also, I think if the teacher let his peers to attend the lesson.
Yes. So, okay. Again, are there any stages for peer observation? Are there any stages? Okay. For example, if we are teaching reading, we have some stages. If we are teaching writing, we have some stages. So what about peer observation? Are there any stages for peer observation?
I think yes.
Okay, what are the stages? Okay, imagine that you are trying to make a new dish, okay? You want to prepare a special dish. What are the stages you do before preparing this dish? We have some stages like pre-stage and pre-stage.
Why
Yes.
Maybe place.
Yes,
Teaching aids.
pre-stage, post, place, and after. So in each of in all the things we do, we have before, pre, stage, and during and after. So let's see together what are the stages of peer observation. Okay, there are different types of peer observation, of course. Okay, and there are lots or three stages. They are pre-stage and during and after. Post, we have pre observation, we have post observation, and we have, of course, after observation. What do we do from your point of view? What do we do in the pre-stage observation? What do you think we should do at the pre-stage, pre-observation stage?
I think to know what are you going to observe?
Excellent.
What's the title or the topic?
Yes. So first of all, at the pre-observation stage, we have to know that the aim or the objective first. What are we going to observe? Very good. What about the post observation stage, during observation? Should we tell the teacher before going to his classroom and observe him or not?
Yes,
Should we
we
tell the
should
teacher
tell
or
him.
not? Yes, we should tell the teacher. So this is also at the pre-stage. We should ask the teacher or ask for permission either to enter the classroom or not, to feel comfortable and relaxed if we are going to observe him. What else? Should we tell the teacher about what we are going to observe in his classroom or not? Shall we tell the teacher or not?
I think
Sorry,
no.
Ms. Firdaus, again in the question again.
Shall we tell the teacher we are going to observe? Shall we tell him the purpose of the visit or the purpose of observation or not?
No.
Yes or
I
no?
think
Try
no.
to think. No,
I
why?
think
Because
Why no?
no. Because something can happen during the lesson, like hesitation from the teachers, or confusion maybe.
Oh, yes. What about you, Sahar? Should you tell the teacher or not?
I think no. If you want to
Okay.
give him a feedback, so he should be مش عارفة أقولها إزاي، بس هو المفروض يبقى على طبيعته
We
يعني.
shouldn't tell him. Okay. What about
behaves naturally.
Okay, what about the others? Should we tell the teacher about the points we are going to observe him or not? What about the others? What about you? What about the others? Noha, Sahar.
I think it will be very annoying if I just found that my colleague is just getting into my class without telling me.
Yeah, okay. So Okay, by the way, we should tell the teacher what are we going to observe inside his classroom. For example, if we want to observe how does the teacher start his lesson, so we should tell him that inshallah we are going to visit you in your class and we're going to know how do you start your lesson, how do you present your lesson, or how do you finish your lessons. So you prepare the teacher, okay, for to feel free and to feel comfortable, and he knows what points he wants to focus on. This is a way, by the way. This is one method or a technique. Others prefer not to tell the teacher what they should observe him, but in fact, there is a form. There are lots of forms you can give the teacher before visiting. This is in the pre-stage, and the teacher himself should read all the points in the observation form and knows on which steps or which points is he going to be observed. Okay, let's watch a video about peer
مس
observation.
فردوس
Yes, Miss Sahar.
معلش لا مس سامية
Miss Samia, sorry.
اوكي اعتقد يا مس فردوس احنا يعني sometimes the supervisor comes suddenly without
Yes,
any
but this is
information or
yeah, this is okay. This is what happens in reality, but we want to know what is the right way or the exact way we should follow.
I
Maybe
think, Ms. Firdaus,
we
I'm
are
sorry for
teachers. Yes,
interruption, but I think peer observation is different from supervisor observation.
yeah. Peer observation is different, but supervision is part of observation, by the way. But if
بس
we
على
want to
فكرة
observation, but
معلش
the peer observation, I seek it as a teacher. I seek to be observed.
yes,
It's
yeah.
different from the
بس
other one.
اوكي بس from point of view اللي عندك اللي هو supervisor he is a teacher like you he is or she is or he is your colleague or
At this time, he's not observing you as a supervisor. He's observing you as a peer, just to give you feedback. This is what I'm talking about. When once
Yeah,
we are
exactly.
in peer observation, there is a specific point that I want to check in my own teaching, and I'm asking him to tell me how can I do it better. So I'm seeking help here.
Yeah,
So he's
this
not.
is the way, Noha, by the way. And even supervision is part of peer observation. But even if you are asking about
But
what's right
he's
and
not my
what's wrong,
peer, Miss Firdaus,
yes,
because
I
because
know,
it
but
has
he's
an official status.
job,
He's
job,
he's
yes, or
supervising,
duty.
not
visit
But
this
even,
is
yes, Noha, but even, I got your point. But even if he's a supervisor, it's not allowed at all to frustrate or upset others. But there are some criterion to observe inside the classrooms, and the supervisor should have a form to tell the teacher before entering his classes on which criterion he observed him or her. Okay, and he should ask or ask for permission before entering. If the teacher is not ready, he should respect his point of view or his desire and not to attend to him. This is the right track.
That's
But of course,
actually
it
what
needed to
happened.
be.
Usually, the supervisor we know, and there is a prior agreement before he enters the class.
Yeah, exactly. There should be agreement, a previous agreement before to either to attend or not. But this doesn't happen all the time, Noha, by the way. It doesn't happen all the time. All the time or most of the time, yes, the supervisors, as Ms. Samia has just mentioned, they enter suddenly without any permission. Maybe the teacher is not prepared to, maybe he's ill, or maybe he's not totally prepared for attending, or even in a mood that allows the supervisor to enter his class to observe him. Okay, so
There is
let's
just this point that in peer observation, there is we are not going to put that in an official record. This is the point I'm trying to stress here.
yes,
It's
I got
it's
it. I got
totally
it.
just for professional development and support. So it's not
I'm
going
getting
into
feedback.
an official record or of the school or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Okay, let's watch a video. Stop sharing this and watch a video and come back again to complete our session for today. Okay, so are you ready for a video? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
This is classroom observation.
Peer observation at Ipswich Girls Grammar School is the process whereby a teacher arranges to come in and spend some time in the classroom of another teacher looking at the strategies that are used within the class. We have a specific focus in that we're looking at lesson structure and particularly the articulation of lesson objective. When we started our quality teaching project, the first thing we did was quite an extensive literature review, and it was very clear from the literature that peer observation was one of the best strategies for professional development that we could provide for our staff. The teachers would have a short meeting before the lesson where they talk about what's going to happen in the lesson, what the objective is going to be, and how the lesson is going to flow.
Well, this is a grade 5 class, and our lesson today is teaching the children about how words are used by authors and readers to take meaning from different texts.
I'm really keen to see how you explicitly give your objective to the class and also your anticipatory set. That's something that I really want to focus on in my teaching.
So,
class,
have you noticed how they start or agree before entering the classroom? What did they do?
She asked her about the objectives.
Yes, so this is
Objectives.
this is the first thing we should do when we are observing others, especially in peer observation. First of all, we should have a meeting with the teacher we are going to visit or observe him or her, okay? And after that, we should agree on the time when we are going to visit her, okay? And after that, we are going to talk about or to observe some points, not all the points. If you notice here, the teacher asks her, she's going to observe some strategies she's using during her lesson. So this is very important to be specific during the peer observation, not to go to attend maybe the whole lesson or look for a lot of things because it can be a mess, but to look for something specific and maybe one goal or two goals at a time, okay?
today's lesson, as you know, is about teaching and understanding tone and mood.
The teacher who's doing the observing goes in, he or she will have a little worksheet that they fill out. We call our peer observations VOTs, which is visit other teachers each term. And so the teacher is looking at, what did I see, what did I learn, what can I do to improve my own teaching as a result of what I've seen.
So what do teachers have during peer observation? They have something called VOT. What do we mean by VOT? It's a report called, what do you mean by VOT? Visit other teacher. It's something like a form, vote to learn, what we're going to learn, vote to develop, what we're going to develop ourselves on, and so on. So this is during observation, okay? We have something called vote. What do we mean by vote? What do you mean by vote? It's an abbreviation, by the way, or acronym. What do you mean by vote? Are you still there? It's
spelling.
Vote, V-O-T, visit other teachers. So this is during the peer observation. We have something like a form to record the lesson, okay, to learn and to develop ourselves next time and to give a feedback to the teacher we are going to observe, okay? It's VOT, V-O-T. It's the abbreviation of visit other teachers, okay? Let's complete the video.
As we spoke about before the lesson, I was really keen to look at how you stated the objectives to the students and also the anticipatory set that you used. The anticipatory set, which was something that I was really interested in, was fabulous. The use of multimedia engaged the students straight away. The images that were used were fabulous. They were targeted right at the students' level. They were laughing along with the clips, that, you know, they were really interested in the images that they were being shown. And certainly it introduced the lesson on tone and mood really well.
Do you think you could use this sort of thing in home economics?
Absolutely. While I was watching your lesson, I was thinking that, how could I use this in my subject area? And I was thinking that the use of images would be perfect, particularly when we're doing a practical lesson. If we were making something like cupcakes, then I could show them some clips from maybe MasterChef or Cake Boss, showing them the production, showing them the end product, so they see what they're going to be doing in that lesson in short, sharp grabs, so their attention's gained straight away.
The response from teachers to peer observation has been very positive. I think as they've undertaken the observations, they've realised that this is a way that they really can pick up some new ideas, some new strategies, some different approaches, and it gives them an opportunity to actually see what happens, you know, in someone else's classroom. So that's been very positive.
It's been fantastic, particularly for my own teaching. I've really been able to get some new teaching methodologies that maybe I'd had a few years ago that I'd forgotten to use. It's that real cross-fertilisation of looking at what someone else does and what they have success with, and then being able to implement that into your own classroom.
Implementing peer observations are challenging for all parties. Initially, teachers may feel hesitant about having somebody else in their classroom. Sometimes you can feel a little bit embarrassed. And just having an understanding that they're there not necessarily to judge you, but to watch what you do and take things from it in a positive way, has certainly helped people to overcome that fear or that concern about the agenda behind it all.
I think one of the most interesting things that we've learned is that teachers have so much to learn from one another, not just within their narrow subject areas or year levels, but from across the school. It's been a great way for us to showcase what we're doing as a school to improve the quality of our teachers and our teaching.
Peer observation changes the way I think about teaching by encouraging me to reflect more on my own practice and making sure that I am covering the steps that the quality teaching teams have shown us work better for student learning.
So what was the benefit of peer observation here? Can you sum up what the teacher mentioned at the end?
To know new methods of teachings,
Yeah.
new approaches.
Yeah, new approaches, right? New methodology. What
Mm.
else? Yes. And the purpose is to learn from each other and take some reflection and feedback. Okay, that's right, Ms. Sahar. Thank you, Ms. Samia. Thank you. And forgive me because I don't see the names, but I know you are Ms. Samia. Thank you so much. Okay, so here let's see together the types of peer observation. There are different types of peer observation. Pop in, okay. We have a series. We have an unobserved observation. Unobserved will mean the teacher meets with the observer and talks through what they want to do in the lesson. Then they teach the lesson without the observer being there. So for example, I'll ask you, Ms. Samia, to try to watch your lesson today, okay, and tell me about what are the good points you think happened in your lesson and what are the bad points or the points of weaknesses that happened during your lesson. After that, they meet up with the observer after the lesson to discuss how it went. So this is one kind of peer observation or of observation, unobserved observations. You watch yourself or you observe yourself during the lesson and you tell me about what happened during your lesson. Another kind series of observation, These observations, okay, take place over a series of lessons. So you can watch yourself in different lessons. This allows the teachers to incorporate approaches discussed in feedback into the subsequent lessons. You watch yourself every time in each lesson, and you decide which went well and which went in a way you don't like, and how to develop yourself or change the way. And another way of observation is recorded observation. And here, this is very important, and I hope you'll try it, to record a part of your lesson or the whole lesson, okay? The teacher films or records all or part of the lesson. Later, the teacher watches and listens to the recording either alone or with colleagues and reflects on the lesson. And this is another way. And number 4, team teaching. The teacher or observer role alternates at different stages of the lesson. This involves joint planning and collaborative post-lesson reflection. Team teaching can be useful when two teachers have a similar area of interest and when teachers are interested in seeing how a colleague deals with a certain lesson activity. So, how many kinds of or types of peer observation? How many types here? How many types here? Can you mention? How many types? 1, 2, 3, and how many types?
4, I think.
4, yes, I have 4 types. Okay. Here are some questions. How many types do we have for peer observation? So we have 4. What are they? What are they?
The first one is pop
We
in.
have 5, by the way. We have 5. The first is pop in. This is short, 10 to 20 minutes. It can focus on a particular aspect of teaching or particular focus of inquiry related to a particular group or of students. This type of observation is good for looking at a particular stage of activity. So we have 5. We have pop in, unobserved observations, series of observations, recorded observation, and the team observation, okay? Have you tried any of them before? Have you tried any one of them before, of these types? Have you tried any of them? Have you tried pop-in before, team teaching or recorded observation? Have you tried any kind of these observations before? Have you tried any? Have you tried any? Yes or no? Have you tried any of them?
Yes,
Can
I
you hear
think team teaching.
Okay, so how did it happen, Sahar?
I think it's like micro teaching. We were in a training and we were asked to prepare a lesson and explain it in front of our friends.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I think it's a team teaching.
Yeah, okay. But team teaching means you and one of your colleagues can divide the lesson and teach it together in an area of interest together, okay? Okay, if you haven't tried any of them or tried one, which one would you like to try in the future and why? If you tried some of them or one of them, and today we have more types of peer observation. Which one would you like to try and tell me why? If you like to be observed and you want to develop yourself professionally, which one would you like to try and why? Wouldn't you like to try any type of them? Okay, let's move to another part. Okay, Are there any benefits for peer observation? Are there any advantages of peer observation?
I think
To gain
Yes,
different
yes or
ideas.
no? Are there any advantages?
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes, Miss Firdaus.
Okay, like what? What are the advantages?
Different strategies, different ideas,
Yeah,
uh,
learning different
different
strategies, different ideas.
different
Yeah, okay.
approaches,
Different approaches. Great. Okay.
different teaching aids.
Yeah, right. Different teaching styles and strategies. Okay. So let's see together here. What are the benefits of peer observation? Here, teacher can exchange ideas about teaching. You have an idea, and Sahar has an idea, Noha has another one. So we exchange our ideas together and come up with a lot of ideas. Although time-consuming, peer observation can help teachers to learn from each other. Also, teachers can learn from their mistakes sometimes. When I find a mistake, I can correct myself and teach it in another correct way in the future. Also, it can help teachers to develop professionally, of course, and this is the main aim. Okay. Do we have some recommendations for peer observation? If you are observed by other colleagues or other friends, how should you expect the observation? What are your expectations about it?
I prefer to focus on the points of the strong points, not the weaknesses of the
Yeah,
teacher,
okay. Yeah,
to encourage
okay.
him.
Yes. Okay, what else?
Second, I prefer to focus on the feedback that هي نفس الحكاية يعني.
Yes, okay. So here are some tips of advice. So if you are observing others or you are observed by others, teachers need to be relaxed about learning from both their good points and bad points. You should be relaxed and feel comfortable. It's okay if I have some bad points and I have to correct them in the future and learn from my mistakes. It's okay and it's not a problem at all. Also, observation needs to be a positive experience, as you have mentioned, Ms. Samia, exactly. We should tell others about the positive points first, and after that, we can suggest them what they should do in the future, not to frustrate or embarrass them. Also, when planning, and this is very important, before observation, we should plan what we're gonna do during the observation, before the observation stage, during and after observing others. When planning an observation, consider what aspects of teaching you want a colleague to focus on. This is very important, and this is exactly what you have mentioned, Ms. Samia. You can ask a teacher to focus on specific areas, not all the areas, such as how I deal with problems. If I have a problem in a specific point, how should I solve it? How I use questions or how I introduce a new topic. After the observation, share what happened with the teacher, and this is very important. For example, Fardous and Sahar are friends at the same school. We teach the same lesson today, so we can share what happens with us during our lessons. You tell me how did you present the lesson and what's going good and what's going not good or in the way you like, and I tell you the same what happens with me. And together we try to learn from each other and exchange our ideas to know how to deal with it in the future and how to avoid the points of weaknesses. Okay. So here, teacher, we hear the benefits, exchange ideas, of course, teachers to learn from each other and from their mistakes. And this is the main purpose of peer observation. Okay. And here, peer observation, this is in brief. Okay. It's how we are observed by other teachers.
Mrs. Firdaus, is it right?
Yes.
Is it right to take photos for sorry مش take photos, is it right to have a record or to make a record for the teacher or to video a teacher,
Yes,
to make a video for a teacher? Is it right?
Yes, of
as
course.
as we
And this is
as
a
we are
type.
peers.
Yes, yes, Miss Samia. And if we go back, okay, if we go back here, it's a type of peer observation to record your sessions. We'll go back here. Look at this part. Types of peer observation we have here. Look, we have recorded observation. And in this type, the teacher films or records all or part of the lesson. You can have some photos, maybe by taking some photos, but I think photos will not be so clear and real as if you film your lesson or video record your lesson. The video recorder will be more realistic and will be more alive to know the points of weaknesses and the points of strength to improve in the future. Okay, Miss Samia? So for taking photos, maybe it's just some shots to know how your lesson is working. But if you film your lessons or video record your lessons, I think it will be better than taking some photos. Okay? We sometimes take some photos for documentations اللي هو التوثيق. إن أنا وثقت مثلا إن أنا هنا in this part I use the realia, in this part I use the flashcards, in this part the students sing or sing a song and so on. So I think photos for maybe documentation, but I think if you want to know or to assess or evaluate your observation, I think if you film it, your lesson, or if you video record your lesson, it will be more effective and beneficial for you. Okay. And by the way, it's one of the most effective ways of observation is to video your lesson, either a part of your lesson, جزء or a whole lesson, and you try to evaluate it after that with yourself and with your colleagues. Okay, Miss Samia? Okay.
تمام. sure. I'm following you, Ms. Firdaus.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, okay. So here, let's move to another part. I want to make it short for you today. Here are there any factors influencing what people observe? If you are a teacher, someone is going to observe you. Are there any factors influencing what people observe? Of course, yes. We have some internal personal factors and we have some external factors. If I am a teacher and I'm going to be observed or I'm going to observe one of my colleagues, there are some factors which will influence or affect me. Some of these factors are internal, they are personal, they depend on me as a person, or they are external from the outer environment. Let's look together at the internal or personal factors. Of course, human tendency to judge what we see. Sometimes we feel that the other person is going to judge us, so we feel embarrassed or we feel a little bit shy or afraid or inconfident that he may judge me. So I feel afraid or sometimes a little bit shy. Or purpose. If I think about Miss Samia likes to attend a lesson with me, she encourages me, so I'll be maybe more confident. So interest or purpose is another point. Age. It differs from a young teacher, a junior. When someone enters to him, he's very enthusiastic, he's very fresh and active, so he wants others to observe him and tell him about the points of weaknesses. The young person wants to develop himself, and if he's old, maybe he feels more embarrassed or he didn't want others to observe him because he thinks that they are going to judge him and he's old enough not to be judged or criticized by other people. Also gender, if we are observing a man, a male teacher or a female, I think it differs. Maybe if I am a woman, if I'm going to observe my colleague or a man, I think times the teacher may be not prepared enough or in a bad mood that he didn't want anyone to attend to observe him just immediately or in this lesson, because maybe he meets he faced bad conditions in the morning, maybe the transport, traffic, or any other problems. So it depends also. Mood and feeling at the time is one of the factors influencing what people observe. Also, expectations. Sometimes when we observe others, we may set great expectations or we may set low expectations. So we have to plan first, and we have to tell the other teacher the points of focus we are going to observe him on or about. Also, previous experience. When we observe others, it depends on our previous experience. If we attend, for example, to Ms. Sahar, we expect that Ms. Samia will be more than amazing here or not. It depends on the previous experience. We think, for example, young teachers are not good enough to or to explain a lesson, or all teachers are more experienced enough to teach or introduce a lesson. Also, relationship of observant and observee sometimes influence observation. If I have with my friends, so I feel comfortable and relaxed when they observe me. And if not, of course, I feel more complicated. I maybe feel more shy or inconfident because we don't have a good rapport together. So why they observe me? I don't want them to come and observe me. What about internal factors that affect peer observation? What are they? What are the external? External, we mean the outer environment, the position in the classroom. Where is the teacher who's observing me sitting? Is he sitting in a corner? Is he sitting at the back? Or is he sitting at the front as if he's watching me? How close they were to what happened? Did they interrupt me? Did the observer interrupt me all the time? Did he or is he an active listener to keep silent enough to wait till the end of the lesson and give me feedback and reflection? Also, it depends on the side of class. Sometimes we feel embarrassed if we have a large number of class. We feel like that they will be noisy, and the observers will judge that I cannot manage my class well, but it's not my fault because it's a large number of class. Also, context for observation, when and where. Also, the purpose, when they will observe me, and where the place. Other competing sources of attraction in the context noise, maybe the mood, maybe the health, and so on. Okay, so again, what are the factors influencing people? What are they? They are two kinds. What are they? They are written here.
Internal,
Internal and external. And by internal we mean personal, and external we mean the outer environment or the outer influences. Okay, are you ready for another video about observation? Are you ready for another video?
مس فردوس،
Yes.
يعني بالمناسبة أنا عايزة أقول حاجة إن إحنا in our school في ال summer vacation, in summer vacation we did that as each teacher has to prepare a lesson that he likes, and then he will introduce it in front of other peers, and the other peers also will benefit from this, and then will give the teacher the feedback about the lesson friendly environment. بس احنا ده بنعمله فعلا في المدرسة في السمر فاكيشن يعني.
Yeah, that's really great.
بس without students طبعا, without students.
Yeah, for professional development. Yeah, for professional development. Right? Like giving micro teaching sessions for professional development to benefit from each others. Okay, that's great. This is a kind of observation, by the way, team observation. Miss Samia, this is what we call team observation, to teach a lesson for your colleagues or friends at school. They observe you and of course give you a positive feedback and tell you about what they